Okay folks, I'm going to just go over a quick technique called the vignette. Now this effect can be popped on top of images to give a kind of draw some focus to a certain part of an image. Now what I've done is I've just used one of the earlier tutorial images. This is an 8x10 image that I've set up of a landscape. Now what I'm going to do is generate a new layer, and I'll do that by selecting the icon down here, new layer. Okay, and this is going to be my vignette. Okay, now what I will need to do is have this layer selected, and I'm going to fill it white. To do that, I'm going to grab my paint bucket tool, which is underneath this gradient tool, so hold down the left mouse button, select the paint bucket. I'm already on white. I can always change it to default, flip round to white if I don't already have it selected, and then fill the page. Okay, and remember that that's just on that layer, so if I hide it, I've still got my landscape layer underneath. And what I'm going to do is apply a filter effect to this layer. So I'm going to go up the top here to filter, and under distort I've got this option for lens correction. So I select lens correction and it opens up this new window. And what we're looking for here is this vignette amount. Now when I start dragging it down, you'll notice the change on this white layer. There's kind of black edges, and it's almost drawing focus to the centre part of the image. You can play about with the various different values, changing the midpoint and the strength of it, as well as things like your perspective and the angle. I'm quite happy as it is at the moment, so I'm going to hit OK, and you'll notice that's now been applied to this layer. Now, each of these layers are stacked on top of each other, this vignette layer rather is stacked on top of the landscape layer, and at the moment has a normal blending mode, which means that there's no particular effect being applied to the layer below it. They're just sitting on top of each other like two pieces of paper covering each other. Now, what I'm going to do is look at changing this layer blending mode, and you'll see the effect that it makes. In particular, I'm going to look at multiply. You can play about with some of the rest of them if you want. I'm going to select multiply. Now, very subtle difference, but you'll notice in the sky in particular, around the edges, that we've been able to see through the vignette and reveal the landscape layer, but it's kind of applied that slight difference around the edge. You can also reduce the opacity of the layer if you want to take the strength of it off a wee bit. Perhaps it's something that you just want to have a tiny touch of. Now, in some cases the vignette will work and enhance an image, but it's really just a wee thing to play about with to see what you think.